Guys, this is a huge day for me, and I'm talking huge. You know why? The pre-sale of my new book, my first book ever, just launched, and I cannot wait. You see, one of the things that grinds my gears almost as much as no-show socks that show is this pervasive societal belief people have that they can't get ahead with money and it's just too hard in today's economy. And then because of that, I see people falling for all kinds of traps, trying to take shortcuts to get rich, trying to beat the system when they're the ones getting their teeth knocked in.
I don't want to get paid to lose. I want to win!
And this is what I get passionate about. And it's why I make videos and act a fool here on YouTube. And it's why I wrote my first book ever, Breaking Free from Broke. And y'all, if I'm gonna be honest, I have never worked harder on anything in my entire life. Okay, this book took me well over a year to write, and it took a decade of living out these Ramsey principles, gaining lots of insights, knowledge, hearing from real-life stories along the way. And I got to thinking, what better way to kick off this pre-sale than to give you the first chapter for free?
Wow.
I'm a giver. What can I say? Now, I could have given you this first chapter for free as a PDF, but we all know a PDF is so 2008. And I've got this YouTube channel lying around, so I said, hey, let's put it right here. I'll orate this thing like my ancestors did, and it'll be handed down generation to generation, YouTuber to YouTuber. And I told my editors, give it as much juice as possible, because I know you didn't come to YouTube to read a book. You came to YouTube to avoid reading a book, and I'm not going to trick you here. We're going to make this fun, I promise. So here's my one ask before I do this thing. As a first-time author putting this baby out into the world, I of course want to spread this message far and wide. So I know I always ask for a like and a subscribe and a share right here in this moment. But this time, I mean it even more. Would you be willing to share this video with a friend or family member or coworker who might find this book helpful? Share with an enemy. I don't care. Maybe they need this too. This is a book that will show them how to rise above the system designed to keep them broke, show them how to build wealth, show them how to break free from the chains of debt and live a life with more margin and options and freedom. You got that person in your mind? All right, copy the link from that share button and send it over text or email or snail mail, whatever you do. Bless you. Namaste. Let's do this thing. All right, without further ado, here it is. Chapter 1 from Breaking Free from Broke, Chained to the System. The little man can't get ahead. That's been the subconscious Eeyore-esque mantra of the average American for a long time now. And as a man of below average stature, I take moderate offense to it.
You're not short.
And here's what's behind that old trope. Money stress and money problems have caused most non-millionaires out there to feel like they're in a financial chokehold of hopelessness. Ramsey Research uncovered some sobering stats in their recent State of Personal Finances report. 37% of the people surveyed said they're struggling or in crisis with their finances. 43% said they've had a hard time paying their bills. 50% said they struggle to pay their rent, and 38% struggle to pay their mortgage. 25% said they rely on credit cards to make ends meet. Nearly 4 in 10 have $0 in savings. 51% said they worry about their personal finances daily. 40% said they've cried or had a panic attack over their money in the past few months. That is bleak stuff, and maybe a few of those stats hit close to home for you. Now, there's a whole bunch of reasons for this grim reality. And for those of you looking to point some fingers, you could blame inflation, which had its largest increase in 40 years in 2022, making it painful to fill our gas tanks and our bellies. The housing market, with home values rising almost 50% over the past decade. The cost of higher education, which has increased by more than 400% since the 1980s. The Fed for raising interest rates and making credit card debt, auto loans, and mortgages more expensive and more crippling than ever. The president, whoever it is by the time you read this, and for whatever reason you think they're ruining everything. Our Congress, who can't balance a budget to save their lives, and the lobbyists who fight dirty with blank checks to keep screwing you over. Big bad corporations that put profits over people and shareholders over consumers. Elder generations, like the baby boomers, who yell at youngsters to get off their lawns from the comfort of a home they paid $30,000 for back in 1973.
I'll give you $5.
$1 million.
News and media outlets that use clickbait and fear-mongering headlines to keep us feeling anxious and out of control. Or a toxic money culture that preys on our wallets through psychological manipulation, slick advertising, false promises, and our own discontentment. Okay, that's enough. I'm sure you're riled up by now. Although I've got to say, that was a bit cathartic too. Now that we've got that out of our system, let's look at the one factor you can control in this whole mess. You. And more specifically, the way you handle your money. Born broke in the USA. As a recovering pessimist, I have high hopes that you can still achieve the American dream, whatever that phrase means to you. For a lot of people, the current American dream is simply debt freedom. For others, it's the classic dream of home ownership. Maybe it's time freedom, so you can travel, explore the world, and lean into passion projects and hobbies. Whatever that dream is, it's going to take money, or at least getting control of it. Here's the mind-boggling part of all of this. We live in the most advanced society in history, and yet we have less time and less money than ever before.
Oh my gosh, how the heck did that happen?
I have a theory. It all started when you were a wee little lad or lass. You were never taught financial literacy in school, so you had no clue about debt, budgeting, taxes, or investing. But hey, at least you remember what year the War of 1812 happened.
Do you know when the War of 1812 was?
Yeah, that's like the 1980s.
You grew up in a house where money wasn't really talked about, or when it was talked about, it was stressful. And things looked good to the outside world, but all the bills and financial worries took a serious toll on the family. Your parents didn't have the ability or foresight to save for college, or to have an honest conversation about how you would afford it without a full-ride scholarship miracle. You were told college was a necessary, unquestionable path to upward mobility, and therefore taking out unlimited student loans was simply an investment in your future. You financed your way through college with that magic monopoly money. Little did you know you were signing on the dotted line for terms that would potentially cause you decades of debt and stress. You had no clue about the post-graduation weight of 5 or 6-figure loans or how the interest worked. Spoiler, it worked against you. You were told that building your credit score was crucial for financial success as an adult and that opening a credit card was the best way to do it. So you signed up for a card for some rep on campus who lured you in with a free t-shirt and a pizza. You started out using credit cards for small purchases like gas and food, telling yourself you'd pay them off every month in full. When the credit card company sent you an email about how special you were and how they wanted to give you a bigger line of credit, you took it and spent more. Then life happened, and maybe you missed a payment or couldn't afford the balance in full, triggering insane interest rates. After graduation, you were faced with the harsh reality of a tough job market and ended up taking a gig that probably paid less than the fairy tale number you had in your head. You felt the need for nicer wheels. You justified why you deserved something shiny and new, and the salespeople were happy to, quote, work with you on the monthly payment. Before you knew it, you were tied to a car loan that lasted longer than your first job and way longer than your last relationship. Hey, the red flags were there, and we tried to tell you. As you settled into adulthood and a more stable career, you were told that renting is a massive waste of money and that owning a home is the smart thing to do. Thanks to all those renovation shows, too much Zillowing, and seeing your friends on Instagram post with new house keys and big smiles, you had your sights set on an aesthetic and price that you really couldn't afford yet. And maybe you did it anyway, taking on a 30-year mortgage with very little down, with the bank loaning you way more than should be legal. These decisions left you financially tapped, trapped, strapped, capped, and zapped.
No cap.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey guys, it's George. You knew that. Sometimes this time of year can get a little rough. The sun goes down sooner, you don't know whether to wear long sleeves or short sleeves, and if you don't like pumpkin spice, well, you're just praying for peppermint season to get here. You see, it's rough. But seriously though, if you struggle with seasonal blues and not the kind with an A7 chord, it's natural to feel some sadness or anxiety about it, and that's okay. A lot of people get down this time of year, but adding something positive to your routine can help counteract some of those feelings. Therapy can be a bright spot in all of the stress and change, something to look forward to make you feel grounded and to give you tools to manage those feelings. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is flexible because it's online, so it can fit your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no extra charge. So find your bright spot this season with our friends at BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/George today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/George. All right, let's get back to it. A whole new world. That's where you'll be. This is the story of how debt becomes normal in our lives and how the normalization of debt over time robs us of margin, freedom, options, and joy. It's a story of how people get screwed by a system that's designed to trap them in debt and keep them reliant on it. But the story doesn't have to end this way. With the right plan, the right habits, and a big old paradigm shift, you can break free from this backward system and live a life of financial freedom you never thought possible. How do we do that?
Tell me how!
Well, first we need to unpack why today's money culture is so toxic and how it's not only holding you back, but also leaving you completely exhausted. The problem isn't just in the different financial industries or types of debt that exist. Money myths, societal pressures, economic shifts, modern financing traps, technological advances, and psychological mind games have all led us to this place of extreme stress and frustration. Over the next several chapters, we're going to explore the underbelly and common tactics of credit scores, credit cards, student loans, car loans, mortgages, investing, and marketing and consumerism. Now, all of that might sound relatively harmless, but fair warning, the stuff I'm going to share with you will be jarring, angering, and even downright offensive at times. You may get enough ick from each chapter that you'll feel like you need a shower. That's not a bad thing, and a shower never hurt anyone.
Good God, you smell.
At times, you will disagree strongly, and that's fine. We can still be friends. But there is one thing I ask of you as we uncover the truths and tenets of this toxic money culture. Keep an open mind. For real, I'm fully aware that each of us is coming at this money stuff from 47 different angles. Different backgrounds, experiences, setbacks, upbringings, geographical locations, education levels, income levels, and walks of life. When you feel yourself getting riled up, ask yourself, where is this feeling coming from? Is it from your own guilt, embarrassment, discontentment, or mistakes? Is it from anxiety, past trauma, shattered dreams, or scarred relationships? Is it from deep-seated beliefs, misinformation, things you've read, exceptions you've known? Or maybe the TikTok advice you stumbled upon that really was just clickbait horse crap? Regardless of what you feel as you read through the next 7 chapters, I hope you won't shut the book early. Because in the remaining chapters is where hope and light begin to spill into the dark, dusty places.
May it be a light for you in dark places when all other lights go out.
Once we've been inside the belly of the beast and made it out in one piece, we'll get to the good stuff. I'll lay out a proven plan to break free from the chains of each part of the financial system so you can make the most of your money and your life. My confidence in this plan isn't just because it worked for me. It's also because it's worked for more than 10 million people for over 30 years.
Did you say 10 million?
I don't know how many people it takes to impress you, but 10 million is plenty of social proof for me. Following this plan, they've paid off debt, socked away an emergency fund, built wealth, and became more generous than ever before. If that weren't enough, Ramsey research found that the people who follow this plan are exponentially more confident about budgeting, getting out of debt, and achieving their money goals. They were also way more focused and organized with their money. In the final third of the book, I'll lay out this plan in more colorful detail. But for the sake of common ground, let's briefly cover the tactical steps that have helped so many people break free from this system. Dave Ramsey coined them the baby steps, and they outline 7 principles in a specific order. Here they are. Baby step 1, save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Baby step 2, pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball. Baby step 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Baby step 4, invest 15% of your household income in retirement. Baby step 5, save for your children's college fund. Baby step 6, pay off your home early. And baby step 7, build wealth and give. There it is. Cat's out of the money bag. Now later, we'll dive into the why behind each step and offer some zesty takes on these timeless principles. The goal is for you to walk away realizing that debt is a dirty little thief, that budgeting doesn't have to suck, that savings are a wonderfully cushy cushion, that investing isn't just for Wall Street bros, and that generosity is the most fun you can have with money. Who says you can't be free? This book isn't just for broke people or smart people, white people or black people, Gen Xers or millennials, Democrats or conservatives, but there is a certain type of person this book is for. The person who is sick and tired of being sick and tired, who feels like they work too hard to feel this broke, who is worn out from running on an existential treadmill of bills and stress, who wants to change their family tree and leave a legacy they're proud of. This entire plan hinges on one thing: a paradigm shift. It's a tough one to make, and the first part of this book will help you make that shift by revealing how the system is designed to screw you, how it's designed to steal your money, your margin, your options, and your peace, how it's carefully crafted and marketed to feed you lies and myths, driving you to debt and discontentment. It's a terrible drive, and yet millions of Americans have become passengers in this Uber ride from hell, where the music is terrible, red lights are ignored, and they're dropped off at a destination they never wanted to reach. Yikes. 0 stars, no tip, 0 out of 10, would not recommend. The system's time in the driver's seat of your life is up. It is time to grab the wheel and decide where you want to go with your life, your money, your legacy. You can't keep living like the average American Eeyore in a cycle of debt, anxiety, cynicism, hoping and waiting for the next occupant of the White House to fix your life. That plan sucks.
Yeah, it does.
That's no plan at all. Be better, do better. You can learn how to stand up for yourself financially, get above this toxic culture, and breathe the fresh mountain air of financial margin in your life, where you get to do the things you want to do without clingy lenders ruining all your fun. We're about to go on this beautiful ride together, one where you'll experience the rock and roll joy that comes with getting control of your money. At times, it may feel like you're up against Goliath, which is good news, because that means you're David. And you know how the story goes. The little guy wins against the big bad bully in the end. So get your financial sling ready, because we're about to bust some heads and take some names. It is on like Donkey Kong. End scene. There you have it, folks. Chapter 1 of Breaking Free from Broke. If you can't tell, I'm stoked about it, and I hope you are too. And if you want to check the book out and get a copy for yourself, I'm going to bribe you today. Now, the book doesn't hit the streets until January 16th, 2024. But if you buy the book before then, during this pre-sale, you're going to get tons of free bonuses. So for $20, we're going to ship you the physical book. But on top of that, you're going to get the ebook version, you're going to get the audiobook version read by yours truly, you're going to get a video of a talk I recently gave at our Smart Conference event all about finding margin with your money, you're going to get access to a private launch party live stream in January, and on top of all that, you're going to get 3 months of the premium version of our Every Dollar Budgeting app with all of the sweet features. So if you want all of that for just $20, go get your copy at georgekamel.com, that's Camel with a K, or make it easy on yourself. Click the link in the description below and share it with your friends who might love this book. And if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this with your friends out there who need to hear this message. Thank you all so much for subscribing to this channel, watching this video, and for supporting this book. That's it for today. We'll see you next time.